The space station floated high above Earth like a giant metal flower in the darkness. Captain Luna Mitchell walked through the long hallway with steady steps. Her purple dragon sat on her shoulder, making soft sounds. The dragon was small, like a cat, but his eyes showed he was very old and wise. His name was Ember, but that was just what humans called him. His real name was a song of thoughts that only Luna could hear. Luna pulled her hood over her head to hide her pointed ears. She had learned long ago that humans were not ready to know the truth about her people. They thought elves were just stories from old books. They did not know that some still walked among them, hiding in plain sight. The Kron ships had come 3 hours ago. They were huge and dark, blocking out the stars. The aliens inside were not like anything from Earth. They were tall as 2 men standing on each other with bodies made of moving tentacles. Their skin glowed with strange lights that pulsed when they thought. Everyone knew why they had come. They wanted Earth to surrender. Luna entered the big meeting room where the humans waited. Major Kate Thompson stood near the window, looking worried. She was a strong woman with short brown hair and tired eyes. Next to her was Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez, who was young and scared but trying to hide it. Private Lisa Clark held her weapon tight, even though everyone knew weapons would not help if things went bad. The door opened and the Kron came in. The leader was bigger than the others. Its central eye looked at each human before stopping on Luna. The air in the room felt heavy, like before a storm. Ember dug his tiny claws into Luna's shoulder, but she did not move. The Kron leader spoke, and a machine translated its words. "You look wonderful today," it said to Luna. Everyone in the room stopped breathing. This was how the Kron always started. They would say nice words, then tell people to give up or die. They had done this to 17 different worlds, and every time they won. No one had ever stopped them. Luna looked at the alien and smiled, but her smile was cold. "How unfortunate for you that you can see me at all," she said. The Kron leader moved its tentacles in confusion. This was not how people usually answered. Some begged for mercy. Others tried to make deals, but no one had ever said anything like this. Major Thompson looked at Luna with wide eyes. She did not understand what was happening. The captain was supposed to stay quiet and let the diplomats talk. But Luna was not following the plan. The alien spoke again. "Your words are strange, human. Most of your kind show fear or try to bargain. You do neither." Luna took a step forward and Ember spread his small wings. "I am not most of my kind," she said, "and you have made a terrible mistake coming here." The other humans in the room looked at each other. They did not know what Luna was doing. She was just a special forces captain, good at sneaking behind enemy lines, but still, just a soldier. Why was she talking to the Kron leader like she had power? Lieutenant Rodriguez moved closer to the major. "Captain Mitchell, should we follow protocol?" she whispered, but Thompson shook her head. Something was different about Luna today. The way she stood, the way she spoke, even the way the light seemed to bend around her. It was like seeing someone you thought you knew become a stranger. The Kron leader made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You speak with courage for one so small. Do you not know what we have done to other worlds? We take what we want and none can stop us." Luna reached up and touched Ember. The little dragon made a sound like singing. "Tell me something," she said to the alien. "When you destroyed the world, called Silverus Prime, 1,000 years ago, did you count the bodies? Did you make sure every single one was dead?" The room became very quiet. The humans did not know what Silverus Prime was, but the Kron did. All of its tentacles stopped moving, and its glowing patches flared bright. "That is impossible," the alien said. "The Silvari are gone. We made sure of it. We burned their world and hunted down every ship that tried to escape." Luna laughed, and it was not a happy sound. "You made sure of nothing. You thought you were hunters, but you were blind children playing with fire." She pulled back her hood and the humans gasped. Her ears were long and pointed like in the old stories. Her skin seemed to glow with soft light and strange marks covered her neck and arms. "Ember," grew larger on her shoulder, now the size of a dog instead of a cat. Major Thompson dropped her tablet. "What are you?" she breathed. "I am Silvari," Luna said without looking away from the Kron. "One of the last, but not the only. We have been here all along, waiting for this day." The alien leader took a step back. For the first time, it looked afraid. The Silvari were old when the Kron were young. They knew secrets about the universe that others could only dream about. If even one had survived, then everything the Kron believed was wrong. Luna walked closer to the alien and it backed away. "Your kind thinks strength means taking what you want, but real strength is knowing when to hide and when to reveal yourself. And now the hiding is over, private." Clark found her voice. "But elves are just stories. Dragons are not real." Luna turned to look at her and smiled. This time the smile was warm. "Are they?" she asked. "Look closer at your world. Look at how many times you almost destroyed yourselves but did not. Look at how quickly you went from caves to stars. Someone has been watching and helping." The Kron leader tried to regain control. "Even if you are Silvari, you are one and we are many. Our fleet will burn." Luna finished. Ember was growing again now, as big as a horse with scales that shifted from purple to red. "Your fleet will burn and your empire will fall because you forgot the most important rule of war." "What rule?" the alien asked. "Never attack the children of those you thought you killed," Luna said, "because they have had 1,000 years to prepare for revenge." The meeting room erupted in chaos, but Luna stood calm in the center, like the eye of a storm. The war was about to begin, but it would not go the way anyone expected. The woman who had given an unexpected reply was about to change everything. 3 months before the Kron arrived, Luna Mitchell sat in a dark room deep under New York City. The others around the table did not know her real name or what she truly was. To them, she was just the ghost, the soldier who could go anywhere and do anything. General Patricia Cole led the meeting. She was old and tough with gray hair and scars from many battles. "The Kron are coming," she said. "We have reports from our allies in the Vega system. They will be here soon, and we need to be ready." Luna listened but said nothing. She had known the Kron were coming for much longer than 3 months. She had felt it in her bones, the way her people could feel changes in the flow of life across the galaxy. Captain Mitchell Cole said, looking at her, "You have done 12 missions behind enemy lines and never failed. We need you to do one more." "What kind of mission?" Luna asked, even though she already knew. The general pushed a folder across the table. Inside were pictures of Kron technology and maps of their ships. "We need someone inside their command structure when they arrive. Someone who can learn their plans." Luna picked up the pictures and studied them. She had seen these ships before long ago when they burned her world. But she kept her face calm. "I can do it," she said. In her apartment that night, Luna sat with Ember. The dragon was in his small form, curled up on her lap like a normal pet. She stroked his scales and remembered. 1,000 years was a long time even for her people. The Silvari lived for many thousands of years, but the memories still hurt. She had been young when the Kron came to Silverus Prime. She remembered the sky turning red with fire. She remembered running with the other children while the adults fought and died. "We were so proud," Ember said in her mind. "We thought we were the guardians of life itself. We did not think anyone would dare attack us." Luna nodded. The Silvari had seeded life on countless worlds. They had helped young species grow and learn. They had been teachers and protectors, but they had not been warriors. That was why so few survived. When the killing was over, less than 1,000 Silvari remained scattered across the galaxy. Most went into deep hiding. Some, like Luna, chose a different path. "The humans were special," her mother had told her before she died. "They are young and violent, but they have something we lost. They adapt, they survive, they never give up. If any species can learn to fight the Kron, it is them." So Luna had come to Earth 500 years ago. She had watched humans grow from sword fighters to star travelers. She had helped when she could, a word here, a dream there, never enough to be noticed. She had waited for this day. The next morning, Luna met with her team. They were all human. Or so they thought. Sergeant Holly Baker was tall and strong with red hair and quick reflexes. Corporal Nancy White was small and smart. the best tech expert Luna had ever seen. Private Grace Lee was young, but brave, ready to follow. Luna anywhere. We have a new mission, Luna told them. The Kron Baker swore under her breath. Those squid bastards are really coming here. Luna nodded. They will offer us a choice, serve or die, but we are going to give them a third option, which is what? White asked. We are going to learn everything about them, Luna said. How they think, how they fight, what they want. And then we are going to use it against them. The team spent weeks preparing. They studied every piece of information about the Kron. They practiced until they could move like shadows. But Luna taught them more than just military tactics. She showed Baker how to feel the flow of energy in a room. White learned to see patterns in technology that others missed. Lee discovered she could sense danger before it appeared. They thought it was just good training. They did not know Luna was awakening things that had always been inside them. The Silvari had not just watched humans. They had changed them. Small changes over generations. Little bit of Silvari DNA here and there. Nothing anyone would notice until it was activated. And Luna was very good at activating it. 2 weeks before the Kron arrived, Luna was called to another meeting. This time it was just her and General Kolai. Have been watching you, the general said. You are not normal. Military Luna stayed calm. What do you mean? Cole leaned forward. I ran your blood work from your last medical exam. It came back strange. Very strange. Luna knew this day would come. She had been careful, but not careful enough. What did you find? Your DNA is not entirely human, Cole said. It has markers I have never seen before, and your blood. It heals wounds faster than it should. The general stood and walked to the window. The strange thing is I found the same markers in some of our best soldiers, Baker Whiteley and dozens of others. All people who have worked with you, Luna, had a choice. She could lie and try to keep hiding, or she could start preparing Cole for the truth I can explain, she said. But you might not believe me. Try me, Cole said. Luna stood and let a little of her true nature show. Her eyes glowed softly, and the air around her seemed to shimmer. I am not entirely human because my ancestors were not from Earth. We came here long ago to help your species grow. The general stared but did not run. That was a good sign. You are saying you are an alien. I prefer the term elder race, Luna said. We were traveling the stars when your ancestors were learning to use fire. We have been here helping and waiting for what Cole asked for the ones who destroyed our world to find you, Luna said. Because we knew they would come eventually. The Kron consume everything in their path, and Earth is too rich a prize to ignore. Cole sat back down heavily. Why help us? Why not just hide? Because hiding is not living, Luna said. And because humans have something we lost. You have fire in your souls. You do not accept defeat. You adapt and overcome. That is why we chose you. The general was quiet for a long time. Then she asked, What do you need from me? Luna smiled sadly. I need you to trust me. When the Kron come, things are going to happen that seem impossible. I need you to be ready, and I need you to help me wake up the others. Cole asked. Luna walked to the window and looked out at the city. Thousands of humans carry our genetic gifts. Most do not know it. But when the time comes, they will feel the call. They will change, and humanity will need leaders who understand. Cole stood and joined her at the window. How many more than you might think? Luna said. We were very thorough. The two women stood in silence, watching the city lights. Then Cole asked, One more thing. Your dragon? Is it real? Luna smiled. Ember is as real as I. He is just good at hiding. Over the next 2 weeks, Luna and Cole worked together. They identified humans with Silvari markers. They prepared secret plans. They got ready for a war, unlike any Earth had seen. And then the Kron arrived. Luna stood in her quarters, putting on her dress uniform. Ember sat on the bed watching her with ancient eyes. It is time, he said. Yes, Luna replied. After 1,000 years, it is finally time. She looked at herself in the mirror. One last time, She would pretend to be. Only human one last time she would hide her true nature. But when the moment came, she would reveal everything. The Kron thought they were coming to conquer another weak species. They did not know they were walking into a trap 1,000 years in the making. They did not know that Earth was not just another world to consume. It was a fortress, and its defenders were about to wake up. The Kron ambassador stood frozen as Luna revealed her true nature around them. The human delegates backed away in fear and wonder. Ember continued to grow, his small cat-sized form expanding until he filled a quarter of the meeting room. His scales shifted from purple to deep red, like blood in water. Major Thompson pressed herself against the wall, her mind trying to understand what she was seeing. "Captain Mitchell, is that really a dragon?" she whispered. Luna did not turn away from the Kron. "His name is Ember, and he has been with me for 900 years. She said he was barely hatched when your kind destroyed our world." The dragon lowered his great head until he was eye level with the Kron leader. He spoke, but not with sound. His voice appeared directly in their minds like thoughts made real. "I remember the burning sky." Ember said, "I remember my mother fighting your ships while her eggs burned. I am the last of the Dragon Lords, and I have waited so long for this moment." The Kron ambassador tried to maintain control. "This changes nothing," it said. "Our fleet still surrounds your world. You cannot fight us all with one dragon. And one Silvari." Luna laughed. "Oh, ambassador, you still do not understand," she said. Stepping closer, Ember is not the only dragon, and I am not the only Silvari. She touched a panel on the wall and the room shifted. The solid walls became transparent, showing the space station around them. What the humans had thought was a simple military base was something else entirely. The station was alive. Its metal corridors were lined with growing things that pulsed with soft light. Great chambers opened up containing row after row of large eggs, some beginning to crack and show movement inside. Dragons of all sizes moved through the organic spaces, some no bigger than birds, others as large as shuttles, and there were people among them. Humans working alongside tall figures with pointed ears and glowing eyes. Some of the humans were changing as they watched, their features becoming sharper, their movements more graceful. Private Clark gasped as she recognized some of them. "That is my sister," she said, pointing to a woman tending to dragon eggs. "But she works in Chicago as a teacher." "She does both," Luna said. "Your sister is one of thousands who carry our blood. They live normal human lives until the day we need them. And today is that day." The Kron ambassador's tentacles writhed in agitation. "This is impossible," it said. "We monitor all worlds for Silvari technology. We would have detected this, not if we hid it inside the humans themselves," Luna replied. "Every person with our genetic markers is a living piece of Silvari technology waiting to be activated. We did not build weapons, we became them." Lieutenant Rodriguez stepped forward, her fear replaced by curiosity. "How many of us are there?" she asked. Luna smiled at her. "You tell me, Lieutenant. How do you feel right now?" Rodriguez paused, then her eyes widened. "I feel strange, like something inside me is waking up. My skin tingles and I can hear music, but there is no sound. That is your heritage calling," Luna said. "You carry the gift of dragon speech. You will be able to speak with them as I do." All around the room, the human delegates were changing. Some grew, taller, their features becoming more elf. Like others remained mostly human, but their eyes began to glow with inner light. A few sprouted scales along their arms or found their fingernails becoming like claws. General Cole entered the room, followed by dozens of soldiers, all showing signs of transformation. She nodded to Luna, who returned the gesture. "The Kron have arrived at all major cities," Cole announced. "Our people are ready. On your signal, we reveal ourselves." Luna turned back to the Kron. "Ambassador, do you know why we chose Earth?" she asked. "Why we spent 1,000 years preparing these people?" The alien did not answer, but its bioluminescent patches flickered with what might have been fear. "Because humans are fighters," Luna continued. "They are survivors. They take the impossible and make it real. When we offered them our gifts, they did not just accept them. They made them stronger." Ember raised his head and roared. The sound shook the station and echoed into space. Outside the transparent walls, hundreds of dragons answered the call. They poured out of hidden chambers, some carrying riders, others flying free. The riders were a mix of full Sylvari and transformed humans working together as one force. They wore armor that seemed to be grown rather than made and carried weapons that glowed with the same light as their eyes. The Kron guards raised their weapons, but their leader stopped them with a gesture. "Wait," it said to Luna. "You would start a war you cannot win. We have conquered galaxies. We have done more than that." Luna replied, "We have evolved. You say you are strong because you take what you want, but that is the strength of parasites. True strength comes from growth, from change, from becoming more than you were." She gestured to the transformed humans. "Look at them. They are not human anymore, but they are not Sylvari either. They are something new, something that combines the best of both races. The adaptability of humans with the power of the elder folk." Major Thompson stepped forward, her skin now covered in fine scales that sparkled like stars. "I can feel it," she said in wonder. "I can feel the connection to all of them. Human and Sylvari and dragon all linked together. That is the web of life." Luna explained what we Sylvari always understood but forgot to protect. Every living thing is connected. The Kron break those connections, but we restore them. And now Earth itself is part of that web. The station shuddered as something massive moved beneath it. Through the transparent floor they could see enormous roots spreading out from the station into space itself. They glowed with the same light as the dragons and the transformed humans, the world tree. Ember said in their minds, "Our greatest creation hidden in the heart of this station for 500 years, its roots touch every place on Earth where our people live. When it fully wakes, the transformation will be complete." The Kron ambassador stumbled back. "You are changing an entire world," it said. "This is madness. This is evolution," Luna corrected. "And it is already done around the Earth." Thousands of humans felt the call. Soldiers in hidden bases discovered they could suddenly see in the dark and move faster than before. Teachers found they could speak without words, their thoughts reaching directly to their students. Children playing in parks laughed as tiny dragons no bigger than butterflies appeared around them. But it was not chaos. Each person who changed was connected to the others through the world tree. They could feel each other share strength and knowledge. What one learned, all could access. It was like humanity had suddenly grown a new sense, one that let them touch the universe itself. In the meeting room, the Kron ambassador was silent for a long moment. Then it spoke carefully. "What do you want?" Luna smiled, but it was not a kind expression. "We want justice," she said. "We want the coordinates of every world you have conquered. We want the location of every Sylvari artifact you stole. We want the freedom of every species you enslaved." "That is impossible," the alien protested. "The collective would never agree." "Then the collective will burn," Ember said. Simply, General Cole activated a hologram showing the Kron fleet around there. Massive warships, thousands of dragons had appeared. Some were enormous creatures that dwarfed the alien vessels. Others were small and fast, darting between the ships like living missiles. "Your shields are designed to stop energy weapons and projectiles," Luna explained. "But dragons are not weapons, they are living beings with their own power. They can fly through your shields like they are not there." The hologram zoomed in on one Kron ship. A dragon passed through its shields and breathed not fire, but something that looked like liquid starlight. The ship's hull began to change, becoming organic, growing in ways that should not be possible. "Dragon breath carries the essence of creation itself," Luna continued. "It can destroy, but it can also transform. Your ships are already changing, becoming something new. Whether that something serves you or us depends on your choice." The ambassador looked at its guards, then back at Luna. "We need to contact our collective," it said. Luna nodded. "You have 1 hour," she said. "Choose wisely." As the Kron were escorted out, Luna turned to the transformed humans. They stood in wonder, touching their new scales or pointed ears, marveling at the dragons that had appeared around them. "This is just the beginning," she told them. "The world tree has awakened and Earth is transforming. But we face a choice too. We can use this power for war alone, or we can use it to heal. What do you mean? Rodriguez asked. She had small horns now, and her eyes were gold like a dragon's. Kron have conquered 17 worlds, Luna explained. Those worlds are dying, stripped of resources and life. We could simply defeat the Kron, or we could do more. We could restore those worlds, bring back their life. That is the way of the Sylvari, Ember added. To plant where others destroy, to create where others consume. Thompson looked at her scaled hands, then at Luna. Can we really do that? She asked. Are we strong enough? Luna smiled, and this time it was warm and real. You are stronger than... You know, she said, humans and Sylvari apart were incomplete. But together you are something the universe has never seen before. You are warriors who can create gardeners, who can fight. You are the future around them. The station continued to change and grow. The world tree's roots spread further, its light touching every corner of Earth. In cities and towns, humans and Sylvari worked side by side, teaching and learning from each other. The age of hiding was over. The age of growth had begun. Somewhere in the void, the Kron Collective received a message that would shake their empire to its core. Earth was no longer a target. It was a power, and it was spreading. The hour passed slowly while the Kron ambassador communicated with its collective. Luna stood at the center of the transformed meeting room, watching as more humans arrived to witness the historic moment. Each one carried the mark of change, pointed ears or glowing eyes or scales that caught the light. General Patricia Cole had grown wings during the hour. Delicate things like butterfly wings, but made of what looked like starlight. She kept touching them in wonder, then looking at Luna with questions. In her eyes, "It suits you," Luna told her. The wings of a leader, one who can see from above and guide others. Cole flexed the wings experimentally. "I can feel the air currents," she said, "every tiny change in pressure and temperature." "Is this how birds feel better?" Ember replied. "The wings of the star-touched can feel more than air. They can feel the currents of possibility itself." Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez had changed the most dramatically. Her skin now had patterns like constellations that actually moved across, her body showing real star systems. She stared at her arms in amazement. "I can see them," she whispered. "Not just the patterns, but the actual stars. I know where they are, how far away, what kind of life might be there. That is the gift of the Void Walkers," Luna explained. "Your bloodline comes from those who navigated between stars without ships. You can feel the universe itself." More transformed humans gathered, each discovering new abilities. Private Grace Lee found she could make plants grow with a touch, turning the metal floor into a garden. Sergeant Holly Baker's red hair had become like living flame that danced but did not burn. Others could speak to machines or see through solid objects or heal wounds with their hands. The door opened, and the Kron ambassador returned, but it was not alone. 3 more Kron followed, including one that was different from the others. This one was ancient, its tentacles white with age, its bioluminescent patches dim but steady. "This is the eldest," the ambassador said. "It speaks for all Kron everywhere." The eldest moved forward slowly, its great eyes studying Luna and the transformed humans. When it spoke, the voice was deeper, older, carrying the weight of millions of years. "So the gardeners survived," the eldest said. "We thought we had ended your interfering ways, but here you stand, and you have done something we did not expect." "What is that?" Luna asked. "You have shared your power." The eldest replied. "The Sylvari we knew were proud and solitary. They helped other species, but always from above, never as equals. Yet here you have joined with these humans, become one with them." Why, Luna felt all eyes on her. This was the moment to speak, not just to the Kron, but to everyone. She thought of her mother, dying in her arms. She thought of her people scattered across the stars. She thought of 500 years walking among humans, learning to love them. "Because we learned something in our exile," she said. "We learned that pride was our weakness. We thought ourselves above war, above joining with others. And so we fell. But humans taught us something different." "What did they teach you?" the eldest asked. That strength comes from connection, Luna said. That survival comes from adaptation. That sometimes to save what you love you must become something new. We did not just hide among humans, we learned from them. And when the time came, we offered them our gifts not as masters to servants, but as equals, joining together. The eldest's tentacles moved in what might have been surprise. This is not the way of things, it said. The strong rule. The weak serve. It has always been so, has it? Rodriguez stepped forward, her constellation skin glowing brighter. I studied history before I became a soldier. Every empire that ruled, through strength alone, eventually fell. Rome, Mongols, British Empire, they conquered, but they did not last. The only things that last are what people build together. Private Clark nodded, her new dragon scales catching the light my grandmother used to say that a strand of thread is weak, but weave many together and you have something unbreakable. That is what we are now. Human and Sylvari and dragon woven together. The eldest turned its great eye to Ember. And you, last of the dragon lords, you would share your power with these mixed bloods. Ember raised his great head proudly. They are not mixed bloods, he said. They are the future. My kind ruled the skies of 1,000 worlds, but we ruled alone. And so we died. But these new ones they carry dragon fire in their hearts while keeping the curiosity of humans and the wisdom of Sylvari. They are not less than us, they are more. The room fell silent as the eldest considered these words. Around them the world tree continued to grow its roots, now visible through the floor, spreading into space like a vast web of light, connecting Earth to something greater. Show me, the eldest said at last. Show me this new way. Luna nodded and reached out her hand, touching the eldest's tentacle. The moment they connected, the alien gasped. Its patches flared with brilliant light as it felt what Luna felt, the connection to every transformed being, the flow of life through the world tree, the unity of thousands of minds working as one. The eldest saw through 1,000 eyes at once. Human children playing with baby dragons, their laughter mixing together. Silvery elders teaching human scientists secrets of the universe that merged magic and technology. Soldiers and scholars, artists and engineers, all connected, all sharing, all growing stronger together. But more than that, the eldest felt the planets the Kron had conquered. Dead worlds stripped bare, their life force drained. Now through Luna's connection, it could feel those worlds beginning to stir, seeds that had lain dormant for centuries starting to grow, touched by the expanding power of the world tree. You would restore them all, the eldest said in wonder. Even after what we did, you would bring life back to dead worlds. That is the way of gardens, Luna replied. You plant, you tend, you harvest, but then you plant again. The Kron know only how to harvest. You have forgotten how to plant. The eldest pulled back from the connection and turned to its followers. For a long moment it said nothing. Then it spoke words that no Kron had ever said before. We were wrong. The younger Kron writhed in shock, their patches flashing in confusion. The ambassador started to protest, but the eldest silenced it with a gesture. We have traveled the stars for so long we forgot why we started, the eldest continued. We sought resources to survive, but survival became conquest. Conquest became hunger. Hunger became all we knew. But these transformed ones show another way. Luna felt hope rise in her chest, but kept her expression calm. What will you do? She asked. The eldest tentacles drooped in what looked like shame. We cannot undo what we have done. It said, 17 worlds lie dead because of us. Billions of lives ended. But perhaps, we can learn to plant instead of only harvest. Teach us, Ember said simply. The Kron ambassador's patches flared. The collective will never accept this, it protested. We are billions strong, set in our ways for millennia. Then the collective will have to choose, Cole said, stepping forward, her new wings spread wide. Change or fade away. That is the choice evolution offers. As if in response to her words, alerts began sounding throughout the station. On the holographic displays, they could see Kron, ships throughout the fleet starting to power down their weapons. Some were even signaling surrender. What is happening? The ambassador demanded. The transformation is spreading, Luna realized. Not just among humans, but among your people too. The world tree does not discriminate. It touches all life. On the screens they could see Kron on various ships beginning to change. Some grew new types of tentacles that glowed with soft light. Others found their patches showing new colors, colors of growth, and creation instead of conquest. Their rigid hierarchy started to shift as those touched by change began to think new thoughts. The eldest watched with something like wonder. So even we can evolve, it said. I had thought us too old to set in our ways. No one is too old to grow. Rodriguez said, her constellation skin showing a particularly bright star cluster. That is what makes us human. The belief that tomorrow can be better than today. And that is what makes us. Silvari Luna added, the knowledge that life always finds a way to grow even in the darkest places and dragons. Ember rumbled, breathe fire not just to destroy, but to clear the way for new growth. The meeting room had become something more than a place for negotiations. It had become a bridge between species, a place where the impossible was becoming real. Humans with dragon wings stood beside Silvari with human hearts, while Kron began to discover they could be more than conquerors. But then alarms began sounding different from before. These were warnings of something approaching from deep space. The eldest's patches dimmed. They come, it said. Who? Luna demanded. The Devourers, the eldest replied. The ones who taught us the way of conquest long ago. They will not accept this change. They will try to destroy everything you have built. On the screens a new fleet appeared. Ships that made the Kron vessels look small. They were not built, but grown things of living darkness that consumed light itself. We fled from them long ago, the eldest explained, became like them to survive. But they are the true hunger, the ones who eat galaxies. Luna looked around the room at human and Silvari, at dragon, and even at Kron, all united by the growing web of life. She thought of all the transformed beings across Earth, all the dragons awakening all the power they had gathered. Then we will face them together, she said. Not as separate species, but as one force. The eldest straightened its tentacles, taking on new determination. For the first time in our history, the Kron will fight to protect rather than conquer. Cole spread her wings wider. Ready our defenses, she commanded. Unite the fleet's human Silvari and any Kron who will join us. The Devourers came like a wave of darkness swallowing stars. Their ships were not machines but living things. Hungry mouths in space that consumed everything they touched. Light itself bent around them as if trying to escape. Luna stood on the command deck of the transformed station, now more tree than metal technology. Roots of living light spread from beneath her feet, connecting her to every defender. Human Silvari, Kron, and dragon minds touched hers through the web. They are vast, Ember said. From beside her, his dragon eyes could see further than most. The hunger that drives them is older than civilizations. The eldest of the Kron floated nearby, its tentacles intertwined with the root system. We fed that hunger for so long, it admitted. We thought if we became like them, they would spare us. But hunger is never satisfied. General Cole's wings caught the light as she studied the tactical displays. We have united Earth's forces with willing Kron ships and every dragon that can fly, but their numbers are beyond counting. Then we do not fight their numbers, Luna said. We fight their nature. The first wave hit like a storm. Ships that were more mouth than vessel opened wide, trying to swallow the defenders' fleet whole. But where they expected to find separate prey fighting alone, they found something else. The transformed humans flew their ships not as individual pilots, but as a connected whole. What one saw, all saw. What one learned, all knew. Dragons wove between the vessels, their breath turning empty space into gardens of light that the Devourers could not consume. Rodriguez called out from her station, her constellation skin showing the flow of battle. They are confused. The Devourers have never faced anything that grows, stronger when attacked. That was the secret Luna had discovered. The Devourers fed on separation, on the fear and isolation of their prey. But the world tree created connection. Every attack that destroyed one defender made the others stronger as they absorbed the memories and strength of the fallen. A young transformed human named Beth Cooper spoke up. She had been a kindergarten teacher before the change. And now her hair was made of living flowers that bloomed with each thought. I can hear them. She said, "The devourers. They are screaming, but not in anger. In pain." Luna reached out with her enhanced senses and understood. The devourers were not evil in the way thinking beings could be evil. They were a force like disease or wildfire. They consumed, because that was all they knew how to do. But now they were trying to consume something that transformed whatever it touched, like trying to eat light itself. Ember mused, "You only become brighter." The battle raged for hours that felt like days. The devourers threw themselves against the defenders with mindless hunger. But each attack was met with growth. Where devourer ships struck the world tree's roots, new branches sprouted. Where they consumed dragons, new eggs appeared already hatching. Where they destroyed human vessels, the pilots emerged transformed further closer to pure energy than flesh. Major Thompson had become something beautiful and terrible, scales like mirrors that reflected not just light but possibility itself. She led a squadron of mixed-species pilots against a devourer capital ship. As they fought, she felt the hunger trying to pull her apart, trying to separate her from the web, but she held on. Not through strength, but through connection. She thought of her, daughter back on Earth learning to speak with dragons. She thought of her grandfather who had always believed in life among the stars. She thought of every person she had ever loved, and that love became a weapon the devourers could not swallow. Capital Ship shuddered. Its hungry mouths closed one by one as something new began to grow inside it. The darkness cracked and light poured out. Not destroying light, but creating light. It's transforming. Rodriguez announced, amazement in her voice. The world tree is not just defending, it's converting them. Luna felt a presence vast and old touching the edges of the web. The combined consciousness of the devourers had noticed what was happening. For the first time in eons, it spoke not with words, but with pure emotion. Hunger, pain, loneliness. So much loneliness. Luna understood in that moment the devourers had not always been monsters. They had been a species once with hopes and dreams and connections. But something had broken them, torn them apart, left them with nothing but endless need. Show them, she commanded. Through the web, show them what they have forgotten. Every connected mind reached out at once. Humans shared memories of family dinners and warm embraces. Silvari offered visions of gardens growing over centuries of patience. Dragons sang songs of flying together in great flocks, wings touching in aerial dances. Even the Kron contributed, showing how they had begun to change, to choose creation over consumption. The devourers convulsed across the battlefield, their ships writhed as they remembered what it was like to be more than hungry mouths. Some exploded, unable to handle the transformation, but others began to change. Black hulls cracked open, revealing cores of light that had been trapped for millennia. The living ships started to reshape themselves, becoming not weapons but something else. Gardens, tools, homes. They remembered having purposes beyond consumption. One massive devourer, Dreadnought, approached the station. Its mouths had closed, replaced by what looked like eyes, ancient and full of pain. Through the web, its consciousness touched Luna's. "So long," it whispered. "So long since we felt anything but hunger. We had forgotten we could feel anything else." "Then remember," Luna replied. "We all forgot something. The Silvari forgot humility, the Kron forgot mercy, humans forgot they were not alone. Even dragons forgot they needed others. But we remembered together." The dreadnought shuddered and began to transform like the others. But this time it was not random or chaotic. It shaped itself with purpose, becoming a vast butterfly of living metal and light. Wings that could have wrapped around moons spread wide, catching solar winds. Others followed. Some became great whales, swimming through space, feeding on cosmic radiation instead of other ships. Some became trees like the world tree, spreading roots between stars to connect distant worlds. Some became things that had no names, beauty given form, but not all chose transformation. The oldest devourers, those who had fed on darkness the longest, could not remember any other way. They attacked with renewed fury, trying to destroy what they could not understand. This is where we make our stand. Cole announced. Dragons take the left. Flank Kron ships support the center. Humans weave between them all. Keep the web strong. The final battle was not like any war in history. It was evolution in real time. Those who could change, did. Those who could not, were not destroyed, but surrounded, contained by gardens of light and connection waiting for the day they might remember. Luna felt the moment approaching the turning point. She reached out to the eldest of the crone, to General Cole, to all the transformed humans, to every dragon too. Even the changing devourers together, she said, one voice, and they spoke with one voice, a sound that was not sound but pure creation itself. It rippled out from Earth through the web, touching every world the Kron had conquered, every space the devourers had emptied, every corner where life might grow. Seeds that had waited centuries bloomed. Dead worlds stirred with new growth. Species thought extinct emerged from hidden places. The galaxy itself seemed to wake from a long sleep. When it was over, when the last devourer had either transformed or fled, the defenders found themselves in a universe made new. Earth was no longer alone, no longer small. It was the heart of a web that stretched between stars, connecting species that had never imagined they could be allies. Luna stood in the meeting room where it had all began. The wall showed not just space but the web itself, millions of points of light, each one a life touched by transformation. The Kron ambassador approached her. It had changed, too, during the battle, its tentacles now showing patterns like tree branches. You gave us an unexpected reply indeed, it said. You asked us to see, and we saw. You asked us to choose, and we chose. But what happens now? Now we garden. Luna said. We have planted the seeds, but they need tending. Some species will join willingly. Others will need time. Some may never accept the change. But we will be here growing stronger, growing kinder, growing together. Ember had returned to his small size, perched on her shoulder. But his eyes held new depths. In them swam the memories of every dragon that had ever lived, preserved and shared. Through the web Rodriguez approached, her constellation skin now showing not just stars, but the connections between them, the paths life could take. I keep thinking about that first moment, she said. When the Kron said you looked wonderful and you replied that it was unfortunate they could see you at all. Luna smiled. It was unfortunate, she agreed. They saw only the surface, only what they wanted to consume. But now they see deeper. They see the connections, the possibilities, the wonder of life that chooses to grow together rather than alone. And that is truly wonderful. Rodriguez finished. The days that followed were full of work and wonder. Humans learned to use their new gifts while teaching their Sylvari cousins about adaptation and innovation. Kron discovered the joy of creation, spending hours growing things just to see them bloom. Dragons found new purpose. As bridges between species, their ancient wisdom combined with fresh perspectives. Some devourers joined the web, bringing knowledge of distant galaxies and the dangers that lurked between them. Others remained wild but contained by an ever-growing network of gardens that turned their hunger into fuel for new life. Earth became not a capital but a crossroads. Species from across the galaxy came to learn.